So in my first accessibility video that I did on the channel, I touched on the skyways and the subways of Rochester, and I was trying to avoid a complicated street crossing at night coming back from a restaurant that's fairly close to where I live, and so I decided to try to take these instead, and was met with something that freaked me out. We're gonna go up it as we talk, but there are new escalators, at least I think so, going up this part of the building. And in the basement half, when I was on the subway coming up this way, they have walled off what used to be escalators, and it was such an alarming change of space. So right now I am on the skywalk level. Where I came from was kind of the ground floor, and then underneath us is where the subways are. It's such a bizarre space, but I want to show you this because it freaked me out. So something of note as I'm here at the elevator, there's no change in surface for the floor, and the skyways have so many different small changes in direction. So these elevators kind of curve at I don't know, what is that, 15 degrees a pop in this little bank of elevators. But for the longest time, because I didn't use visuals, I wasn't aware of where the elevators were, and I still have to kind of guess. So we're gonna go to S, I'm assuming. We're gonna go S, because I'm assuming that's subway. Hopefully I don't call the fire department. Okay, we're good.
Basement floor, subway level.
So the one thing I will give them credit for is the talking elevator, because that is kind of nice. And there it is. So this right here is the space I was talking about. So this was an escalator. This was relatively open space in this area, and it is no longer. There's some kind of temporary walling. And you may recognize this section from the other video. Maybe not, because this is such a mess. Just to get around all of, most of this entire area is just bizarre. But I came at this room from over here. So this is one of the subways where there are some small shops. There's a coffee shop, there's a pretzel place over here. And so I was coming at it from this direction. And just the abrupt change in, again, I'm expecting an open space in here, and the escalators were not working for a while, but I had no idea they were actually getting rid of them. And so when I came in here initially, I was so off-put by the wall, because I was like, where am I? What space is this? I actually think originally I kind of ducked this way, and I'm still not 100% sure what's here, but there's a couple doors and it's like a smaller alcove. I'm 85% sure that little room wasn't there. And then I saw this, which I'm guessing is a drinking fountain. It is, okay. So there's a drinking fountain there, which is good. But it's such a change of space. This is not an area that I expected these things to be in. And so it was kind of alarming that way. I am happy to know that I can get myself back up towards the skywalk. But as far as accessibility, I mean, this is a 2 out of 10. The talking elevator is very helpful. But in terms of not being aware that this was something that was going to change, it was quite alarming that way. So I'm gonna head back up towards the skyway because I want to go home. This was all in an effort to get home, which leads me to my next point. As far as navigation, I mean, these things are a struggle for me on any day. Today I was in a restaurant having dinner, and I wanted to avoid the street crossing, and so I went underneath to the subway. I was able to find my way over to this part of that system. Not easily, but easily enough, because I'm familiar with bumping into stuff until I figure it out. But again, Rochester just struggles with this. So I'm gonna flip back to me here. But yeah, hopefully that makes some kind of sense. I'm gonna start walking where I think I might want to go to get out of here. But it's not an easy thing to navigate these, and especially when the winter time is such a crucial time for these types of things to work. You know, I depended on the audio cues for the section that we are now leaving behind me as the escalators. And so one day I walked in and the escalators just had stopped. And again, without knowing that that was a planned project, I was not expecting that change in environment. And so it was very off-putting. And then today to walk in and there's like a whole another universe of walls, and like there's a room where there wasn't a room last time I was in there. I mean, that's so jarring and does not lend itself well to accessible design. I mean, the absolute minimum there needs to be better communication of what's going on and what kind of changes to expect in your environment. And that could be done through social media, that could be done through, you know, the paper. And even if they are there, they are not easy to find, and they don't pop up in places where I can just access them. So even a phone number that I could call for, okay, indoor construction projects, push 1, outdoor construction projects, push 2 kind of thing, and talking about what is going to be changing in each of the environments that you may be traversing, because I happen to live here, and so for better and for worse, I am at least ballpark familiar with the environment and kind of what's going on. But at the same time, a lot of people who come to Rochester are not from Rochester. They are attending the Mayo Clinic and may not be familiar with English, and so there's a lot of things that need to be addressed as far as communicating change in terms of what is being built and modified around the city. So that's kind of my rant, I suppose, on accessibility when I'm just trying to go home, and now I know where I am, so I'm gonna hop on the escalator and head down and head more towards home. But hopefully that makes some kind of sense. If you have any questions, I am certainly happy to answer them the best that I can. Yeah, I figured this was worth making a video on as I travel a little bit, and that was just kind of a reaction to the change that I was seeing. I was not traveling with the intent of making a video today, but in terms of having this as a roadblock for me getting home, that was a bit frustrating, and so I figured documenting that experience would be worth doing. Hopefully it makes some kind of sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, hopefully, we'll see you soon. Peace.